And I just love that. And they're trading blows. And then that's when Drew just creeps out and captures the WWE title, ladies and gentlemen. Finally wins it. Now, I had told you guys, and we're going to get more Drew and Rhodes. I believe this isn't the end to this, but this is a way to get Rhodes kind of away from the belt for a bit. They might, I think they'll come back to this. I told you guys, we're going to get a long Drew McIntyre Rhodes feud. You guys can go back on PWT, and your boy Phil told you we're going to get a long McIntyre Rhodes feud, which we did. And I told you I could see them switching the title back and forth a couple times. And I was shocked at WrestlePalooza they didn't pull the trigger. Now, I have a theory. This is completely just a theory that I've come up with, which will make a lot of sense to you guys, I think. So at WrestlePalooza, you know, Drew, they announced after WrestlePalooza that Drew was, and people thought he was going to win the title then, and he's going to be in Highlander. But Henry Cavill hurt himself, and it pushed the production down. And we chronicled this all here at PWT. It pushed it back to 26, right? And so at WrestlePalooza, like, I was dumbfounded Drew didn't win the title because I thought he's going to win the title and then they're going to announce the Highlander thing. And then he, as WWE champion, he's going to like do this movie. And I don't know if it lines up. I really don't, but it's now 2026. This Monday is when Hollywood is when the offices are back open, right? And everyone's wheeling and dealing again. It's when Hollywood's holidays, I guess you could call them, end. And they will be going hard, and I don't know if Cavill's healed up yet or what, which there's a pun in there. If you guys got it, you got it. I don't know if Highlander's going to set motion, but he just won it, and he's about to be in the Highlander movie. He's about to have an insane 2026. Drew McIntyre is all I'm saying. Yeah, there you go. He's going to be in a big-ass blockbuster movie as WWE champion. And nowadays, guys, this makes more sense. People go, oh, come on now, Phil, you're the champ. You can't go. Yeah, Hollywood moves around for WWE now. Whereas back in the day, WWE had to, you know, The Rock had to fully leave pro wrestling in order to do Hollywood. Now you can do both, okay? The doors, the floodgates are wide open, and Drew's going to have a stellar 26. And he might shine through it in a movie. You know, there might be some he might not be champ by the time the movie comes out, but you guys know what I'm saying? Like, this is the type of, he's going to be a big star and stuff. So he's the world champ. He deserves it now. It had to be now. There's no way he could have not won. And they're about to go to the UK. So it just, timing is everything. Things happen for a reason. I'm not saying he was supposed to win at WrestlePalooza, but I was convinced that he was going to win. Then the Highlander announcement was going to come out because they pushed that announcement of him being in that movie back. This is a fact. They pushed it back because they're like, can we just wait till after Palooza? And Hollywood's like, yes, we will do that. So they want to be, everyone's jumping on the pro wrestler train, man, in pro wrestling, WWE in particular. It's hot. And this is evidence of it, but also just congrats to Drew. This is his year. Amazing work by him and Rhodes, and this isn't the last we've seen of those two fight. So if you're tired of it, oh well. And who knows, man? Drew could carry this thing straight through till Mania. Why not? You know, it's not like he's going to lose it at the Rumble. There you go. So that was SmackDown, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause for my quick review, and then let's get into WWE news over here. And speaking of Drew McIntyre, this is what he told the fans after the show. And let's take a listen here.
I assume a lot of you have been coming to the WWE Hydro shows for a few years now, yeah? Probably heard me repeatedly make you a promise that I'm going to win the WWE Championship and I'm going to bring it back to Scotland. Well, the first time I won the WWE Championship, unfortunately the world had to go shutting down on us, didn't it? I won it twice, and I'm proud what we did during that period. We gave people an escape during scary times. But I swore I would get the title back, and it has been years. and years of disappointment. I've been screwed over, but
imagine Jacob Fatu versus Drew at Mania. Oh, and then you can do Orton versus Rhodes. No title. Doesn't even need a title. I think this Mania is going to shape up to be a stellar one, man.
Still believing in myself because I've got this weird condition that makes me mental. I'm Scottish. And last night.
Yeah, guys, I think this was at a house show because they're doing like a UK tour right now. So I think this was a house show in Glasgow. And also, oh, yeah. This is what we're doing for Memba Monday. Oh, no, I think I'm busy at the time because Raw's on earlier. So I think I'm actually busy when it's on. I was like, yeah, we're going to watch Raw because it's on early. But, oh, yeah, I have something going on. When they announced the time, I was like, fuck, I won't be able to do Memba Monday watching Raw during the day. But whatever.
You couldn't have written it any better. I won the WWE Championship. In the very first place, I was able to walk out in front of live fans as the #1 wrestler on planet Earth was Glasgow, where I could fulfill my promise.
And it's crazy. He promised he would bring it back, the title, and he fucking did. So Nick Aldis announced 4 qualifying matches for next week. Miz versus Orton, Cardona versus Trick Willie, Priest versus Solo, and Zayn versus Dragunov. Then the winners will compete in a fatal 4-way at SNME. Then the winner gets a shot at the Royal Rumble. I love this. And then the other guys will be positioned as, hey, these are guys you need to look out for in the Rumble, you know? And these are guys you need to look out for, possibly a few of them in the Elimination Chamber, however they decide to book that or whatever. But yeah, Mania season's heating up. I love shit like this. I love that also it takes Drew and then it gives him an opponent. My prediction is I think Jacob Fatu is going to win the Rumble and then go on to win the title at Mania. I think they're stacking chips on him. My favorite to win the Rumble right now is Jacob Fatu personally. He's not in this. So he's not going to get to Drew until he's going to have to end up. My prediction, I'm fantasy mark booking here. He's going to have to get through the Rumble to get to Drew. And in the interim, Drew is going to beat a Cardona, a Randy Orton, maybe a Sami Zayn, you know. I could see him facing Orton in all of this, and then Randy and Rhodes, them beefing further. I just see Rhodes turning heel on Randy Orton, baby, at this Mania or by Mania. That's been my prediction. I'm fantasy mark booking Mania already, but I think Fatu's going to have to go through the ringer to get to Drew, which will culminate at Mania. So I think he's going to win the Rumble. That's my early prediction. Yeah, I could play this, I guess.
Stake their claim.
You can listen to it.
#1 contender. So I'm not wasting any time. I've decided
I'm not wasting any time.
that next week, in a venue very close to my heart, Wembley Arena in London, we will present 4 qualifying matches. The winners of those matches will face off in a fatal 4-way match at Saturday night's main event. The winner of that match faces the WWE Champion at the Royal Rumble. Tonight, 2 men walk through hell to be
So yeah, that's what's going on. And Drew made it through hell. He's there sleeping with and hugging his WWE Undisputed title. And it's just about goddamn time. I'm so happy, man. I was so fucking happy this happened. Let's see if we have anything else from SmackDown here. This live show we talked about in Glasgow that just went down. They had 11,000 people there as well for Drew's like homecoming with the title, which is amazing. Yeah, that was SmackDown and Drew McIntyre and everything, guys. Guys, NordVPN.com/ProWrestleTimes. And you can save up to 70% on 2-year plans. That's a special deal for you guys coming into the new year. Protect yourselves. Today, Instagram, it came out that 17.5 million roughly accounts had their shit compromised. So get a VPN, go and reset your goddamn passwords, and save up to 70% on 2-year plans here with PWT. Shout out Nord. So here is the construction for the stadium that they're building. And yeah, the Middle East will do this. They did it for UFC. back in the day, they will just build a fucking stadium, or they had Fight Island where they constructed an entire hotel, hospital, fucking resort that super yachts could pull up to, literally. And you know what I mean? They built a Fight Island for the UFC. They will just construct an entire stadium for Rumble and for the Rumble. And again, nobody's constructing stadiums or arenas for TNA or AEW. So it just goes to show you who's in competition with who right now. But yeah, here is the construction that's been going on. And then they might just tear it all down after. They will do that. WWE NXT garnered its best, what am I looking at here? 18 to 49 rating in months for last Tuesday's episode. They averaged 627K viewers, up 4%. The key demo was up 43%. Wowza. And the viewership hasn't been that high since last year. Year over year, it's down 21%, though. But again, it's the big plus panel, whatever the fuck. And wrestling's down in general. So, and again, that's not a built-in excuse. But it is, you have to factor that in when we're looking at year over year with NXT, that people thought would be trending in a different direction, which according to CW, they are. And they were sort of outraged with the Nielsen, whatever the fuck, as we covered on the show previously. Moving along here, there's a big update on Main Event's broadcast. Oh, right. Because so there's a big update on Main Event's broadcast details now that the show has left Peacock. And so Kat Bourne posted the answer to that, one of the smaller questions in the post-Peacock world. Main Event is headed to YouTube worldwide and back to Thursdays. Damn. So everyone worldwide is going to start getting Main Event on Thursdays. The WWE TNA wars have begun. They've begun, guys. It's war games. They're coming after TNA. They're coming after TNA, guys. A new class action lawsuit. I will circle back to that one. A class action lawsuit. That's juicy. Where is my... No, we'll talk about it now. A new class action lawsuit filed Thursday accuses WWE and ESPN of deceptive marketing practices with the move of PLEs to ESPN's direct-to-consumer streaming service. The complaint takes issue with how some fans who already get ESPN channels through cable or other providers were still required to pay an additional monthly fee to watch WWE events. The plaintiffs allege, welcome to the People's Court. The plaintiff alleges this contradicts its marketing communications from both WWE and ESPN, which they claim suggested all existing ESPN subscribers would have access to PLEs. He's throwing a flag on the play. So, yeah, that's according to Post Wrestling. It contradicts marketing communications. So I don't know how that's going to play out. Maybe it would be like a big deal. It's crazy how many of these really big deals WWE's been like, oh, they can't get sued for, or they'll just pay people off for the whole independent contractor thing because they'd lose and it would shift the landscape. And, you know, WWE starts their own streaming network and they go, it shifts the landscape of fucking television. Vince is the first guy doing monthly pay-per-views, and it changed the landscape of pay-per-view and all this shit. And then they do this big Netflix deal and they're live every week and no one's done. It's just crazy how pro wrestling's on the forefront of all of these crazy ass things. And right now they're on the forefront of like, well, this is marketing communication, class action lawsuit. I'm sure like nothing will come of it, at least not for the next how many years. But at the same time, it's crazy how this happens. And it's going to start happening as we enter this world of like streaming is king now. Everyone can officially admit that. You know, it's just everything. We're going to see lawsuits, things get combined, things disintegrate, things that we're used to will go away, new things will be implemented that we'll get used to as far as like how we consume TV. But I think it's going to go back to like, you just pick like 10 things you want. There'll be service providers that go, okay, you get to pick 5 things you want and then pay like a monthly thing, and it'll essentially be like cable. But you go, I want Netflix, ESPN Plus, Max, and CNN Plus or whatever. I'm just naming 4, whatever. And then they go, okay, the Netflix costs an extra 10 a month, you know, and then they sell you like a $60 cable package. That'll be the next thing I think that happens, and it'll sort of go full circle in that way. It's already kind of happening. There's already these streamers that are kind of doing shit like that. But speaking of TV shows and whatnot, and sports and live streaming and all of this stuff, Nikki Bella is at the Fiesta Bowl for the WWE and ESPN college football, whatever the fuck. There you go, dude. She's looking like $1 million. But all I'm saying is, like, how old's Damian Priest? If one of these like 40-some-year-old wrestlers that was a dude, and I'm not trying to do this virtue signal shit, I'm just pointing it out. If like one of these 40-some-year-old wrestlers started dating some 22-year-old college athlete or something, and it went viral, some girl volleyball player or some shit, people would be wanting their head on a fucking stake. And I'm not shaming her at all. It's just like so crazy how people are like, yeah, you get it. Who's she dating? I forget the guy's name. You get it, Dejan or Dejeen, whatever. But if it was like LA Knight doing that, people would be like, what the fuck? That's gross and shit. Oh, man. So speaking of movies and TV and Netflix and gross, Freddie Gibbs, dude. Freddie Gibbs. Are you guys a fan? Freddie Gibbs is an actor / rapper, and he worked himself into a shoot on the movie Cinepocalypse. Or no, Cinepocalypse was the referee. Night Patrol's the name of the movie. I butchered it, pardon me. And there's a clip of this that TMZ posted, and Freddie Gibbs tells the story that he didn't hold back on his stunts, and he legit sliced Punk or nearly stabbed him.
My favorite moment on set, well, it was a scary moment, for real. I'm gonna tell the truth. I ain't even told nobody this yet. I thought that CM Punk was mad at me for real. So like for an hour, I was walking around that motherfucker like, hey, it might be a real fight in this motherfucker with a wrestler. That ain't. Yeah, I'm not gonna win this.
He's gonna get that anaconda vice.
But we did the scene where I had to like shoot him when he was trying to get into her apartment. I had the gun and I swung that up, like, you remember? And it cut his hand for real.
Oh, it cut him. I thought they were doing like a knife stunt or something.
It was like cut, and he walked away like, you. I was like, I said, damn, this motherfucker got injured for real, and it's my fault. He gonna me up, so, you know. Yeah, and he's strong as for real, because when he was throwing us around all that grass, I was like,
that's awesome, dude.
Ain't fake. But that was probably my most memorable part of shooting, you know what I mean? But the day I was scared as but it was cool though, man. It was a great time other than that.
Dude, that's awesome. Freddie Gibbs is like a super gangster rapper, and he was like, yo, Punk was gonna whoop my ass. I was scared. He feared for his life. Tony's like, me too. I was on set with
guys,
him.
Tony Khan.
And I feared for my life. A table got wiggled in front of me, and I was like, oh. I was like, oh.
Wrestling's not fake.
So speaking of people getting hurt, unfortunately, Elton Prince revealed that he underwent a 2-level neck fusion surgery yesterday. Or it's a fusion, not a surgery, whatever the fuck. Not exactly where I hope to be at 28, but we are owed nothing in this life, and I'm just grateful to be on the road to recovery. See that shit? What did Elton Prince, what did Pretty Deadlies do? That was so crazy. And even this guy. And William Regal's out there like, we need to be safe. And we're going to roast Dave for being completely redacted and lying about his position on that shit. But he says, I want to thank everybody who has messaged or commented to ask how and where I am. It's been nice to not feel forgotten, and I will try my hardest to overcome all the obstacles and get back in the ring for you. Yeah, man, it's unfortunate. I loved Pretty Deadly. I hope Kit Wilson, he could be like a lower jobber guy the way he is with this, like, everyone's toxic. That's all good. Just like a guy who gets beat, glorified jobber type guy. He's got his new theme song is good, and he's still doing like the flamboyant outfits. You know, he took the Pretty Deadly thing and sort of like modernized it a little bit, and I really loved Pretty Deadly, and it just sucks, and I just hope that dude recovers. Elton Prince there, or Kit Wilson's the one wrestling, yeah. And yeah, that's all I can say. I don't know what to tell you guys. But in other injury news, Kendall Gray had to get her teeth fixed after JC Jane's brutal knee at New Year's Evil. And yeah, she got some teeth knocked out or chipped. So hopefully she makes a quick recovery and we see her again soon. And you know, Dave can't wait. She's got to denounce Dave, though. That's got to be the next thing that she does. We talk about contracts and we talk about people signing with WWE and possibly showing up. And a couple superstars have made headlines, one of which being Logan Paul, who revealed that he's officially signed a new long-term full-time contract with WWE. So Logan Paul will be wrestling full-time. He signed there long-term. He'll be there week to week like he said he was going to. I love it. He's a net positive for pro wrestling. Chat me up, weigh in on. There's a lot to unpack here, but he's a net positive for the WWE, a healthy WWE, Eric. Logan Paul is definitely born to be a pro wrestler. You know, some people just have it in him and he gets it. And he does deep cuts too. Like, people don't talk about, if he was in AW doing all the deep cuts in his matches like he does, everyone would be glazing that, or not everyone, the sickos would be glazing that. They'd be going nuts, but because he's in WWE, they shit on him and then put over Big Boom AJ. Stupid. And we can see there's levels to this, like that BDE guy who's in TNA. And good for them. I'm not shitting on him, but like, he ain't really there. You know, him and that Dank Ops guy, they're just not really there. They clearly don't get it the way Logan Paul does. It just shows there's levels to this shit, and Logan was born to do this shit. And speaking of someone who's just levels and born to do this shit, Javon Evans is officially on the main roster, but this story came out, according to WrestleVotes on Fightful. Many people in WWE were puzzled by Javon Evans signing his Raw contract during the commercial break, but insisted it wasn't any indication of their view on Evans. First off, a bunch of people saw it. No one was puzzled. No one in WWE was puzzled that they put it during the commercial, because internationally and on the internets, they just upload it, but internationally, a bunch of motherfuckers saw it during the commercial, okay? So I don't think people are puzzled. It's the day and age of streaming. They're trying to promote, oh, you miss shit if you don't be on streaming, okay? It just is what it is, man. And Javon is all good. And no one was puzzled backstage. It's just such a fucking thing. You could say, anyone could just make that up. Same with like this right here. This is according to The Observer now. And it's like Dave's getting cooked again. And we're not even at Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment, a special comeback edition of Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment on PWT tonight. But this is what Dave says. WWE reportedly sees Javon Evans as someone who can be a star, but not a franchise star.
For, the young superstar, babyface, the former heel thing. So
like, what, man? How the fuck do you know that? B, it doesn't matter. Literally, if Triple H got on TV and said, we don't see you as a star, it just doesn't matter. Look at Danielson as the example of that. You look at Kofi, you get over. They're going to push what gets over. Javon's getting himself over. And then for him to say they see him as a star, but not a franchise star. It's like, how the fuck would they know, or you know that? Who would come to you and be like, oh, they don't see him as a friend, unless Dave's getting trolled. And again, that's what it is. People say fucking Terry Taylor stooges to Dave. That's the only person, the only source we can ever point to is possibly the Red Rooster. Okay, the only reason he would still have a job there, if that's still the case, is because he tells them 2 lies and a truth. You know what I mean? He tells him like some obscure bullshit to make him look fucking stupid. There's no other way Dave says this much or Dave just does the makeup game, as I've said. He hears something and then he just extrapolates more because there's more than meets the eye, Brian. And by the way, if you guys want to hear an epic NXT argument where JJ is fucking arguing and him and I are arguing, just fucking back and forth, just rock'em sock'em robots over NXT and who's going to get over and Obafemi and Javon and all these guys, you got to check out his show that I'm on, the most recent one. Whenever he drops it, I don't know if he recorded it, then edited. I don't know what he's doing, but if it's out there, go and check that out. My buddy JJ's show, Full Circle. I think it's called White Heat. Look it up. Full Circle Radio Network. And I don't want to I botch it sometimes. It's called Squared Circle. I feel bad. Me and him fucking had a knock him out, drag out argument, and it was awesome. It was epic. I had so much fun. And I look forward to the next one over on his show in like the last hour there. And I don't know when that's dropping, but yeah, we did that yesterday. And Javon was a topic, and so was Obafemi and shit. And so yeah, I don't know. Maybe I think Javon is gonna be like main eventing Manias one day and shit. So I think Dave, some people theorize that Dave said that because he wants Tony Khan to get Javon back in AEW or whatever eventually, because he had Javon at one point. And Javon is a guy where he flies around and shit, but he actually gets over by doing it because it's like unique to see a guy his size do the shit that he does. And he's so young. He hasn't even grown into like his full man growth yet, you know? Wait till he's 30. He like knows how to work out and where food science will be then. And when he knows how to work out, but I'm saying like when he knows how to work out to maintain the main roster lifestyle, I bet the kid will end up being in movies one day and shit, you know, the sky's the limit. He's so young. It's like, I don't know why Dave would even say some stupid shit like that. Anyways, let's move along because we're getting in on Dave here before I get to the segment. But Jim Ross says, I think it's WWE or nothing for Chris Jericho, King. By God, King. And yeah, I agree. It's obvious that Jericho will be in WWE. There's no question. It's happening. And I agree with Jim Ross. It's like, if he just comes back to AEW, it'll be a wet fart. But if he does it in 2 years, if AEW's around. And again, Jericho's jumping off at the perfect time. He's so calculated with all of this shit. You have to believe. And I will put Jericho in that politicking, knows when and where to call his shots and how to get these deals done and shit. You have to give him credit. He's had multiple moments, even with WCW, man. Think about how he jumped ship to WWE the first time. He's always just been Vince invited him over to his house and shit like this, right? And then they debut him with The Rock, and then they don't really see anything in him, and because you know his matches weren't stellar and the crowd didn't react too much, but then he gets it together and they trust him enough to be the first undisputed champion, you know, while Triple H is gone and you have Stone Cold and The Rock, but you don't know where their heads are at and shit. And fucking man, Jericho, and then with AEW, he helped launch it. There'd be no AEW without Jericho. There'd be no like, oh, we can do this TV show Dynamite Weekly without Jericho. There'd be none of that. Man, he just knows how to pick his spots, hey? Like with this whole WBD sale, he's just jumping off the sinking ship, and then he's going to go into a white hot WWE where he will help bounce numbers. Like he's not going to like draw for them. Oh my God, Jericho just draws for them again, but he will to a degree, man. Like it will boost some attendances. There will be more interest. There will be more ESPN, Sports Illustrated. No, there will be like all of these articles about it and shit. Everyone will be talking about it. It'll be a bunch of fans who are lapsed fans who are like, where's Jericho been for the last 10 years? Oh my God, my hero's back in fucking WWE. There'll be a bunch of that. A new #1 song or whatever for Fozzy, right? We already know. Like it'll be all of that comes with it. And Jericho and then like WWE's already hot, but then some people are saying, oh, they're kind of in a lull, but then here's like another legend type comeback to WWE. A bunch of casuals don't know what the fuck AEW is, right? And I argue that there's more casuals watching WWE now instead of hardcore wrestling fans like it was for a long time. And yeah, I just think he just picked his timing so fucking well on this, but I just don't know You just never know like when Jericho's going to appear though.
I look and see it's not just me. So many others have stood where I stand. We are the young, so raise your hand. They call us problem child. We spent our lives on trial. We walk an endless mile. We are the youth gone wild. We stand and we won't fall. We're one and one for all. The writing's on the wall. We are the youth gone wild. Let me get wild! Yay!
So speaking of going wild, AAA Lucha Libre Worldwide, here's their new logo. And it's just got the WWE thing over top. That's cute. And speaking of being youthful, here is Jordan Grace and Julia Gulia wrestling each other in the snow. That's cute as well. Here is, speaking of cute, here is Javon Evans' dad. We talked about Javon, and here's his dad. Just showing, he put together a little TikTok when you used to be able to beat up your son, but now he's a WWE superstar. And this is
when you used to be able to beat up your son, but now he's a WWE superstar.
We be friends. Why can't we be friends? Tony Khan, why can't we be friends? Dave Meltzer, we be friends. We be. This is cute, dude. This is awesome. Parents, support your kids. Sometimes their dreams might seem crazy, and sometimes they are, and you have to be there to tell them the blunt truth. But if they put the work in, like Javon Evans clearly has, and he really wants it, and you see there's something there, you're like, man, he's actually kind of good at this, you know? You fucking help facilitate that shit, dude. So speaking of facilitating, Jesse Ventura says he might facilitate the government of Minnesota again. This just made headlines. He calls Donald Trump a draft-dodging coward and says the United States is a third world country now. I'm moving from the Baja back to Minnesota. All of these ICE agents and Somalian daycares is starting to ruin the reputation. I was the highest voted independent governor in the history of the United States. I was a underwater frog SEAL team demolition. So that made all the headlines. Speaking of headlines, Liv Morgan made headlines for her talking about her arrest and all of this shit. On What's Your Story with Stephanie McMahon. Now, this episode popped off for her, man. Liv is people want to hear from her on What's Your Story. I'm going to play this, but I'm going to kind of scroll down because WWE with these Fanatics pods, they go hard on them, you know? But Liv is talking about her, she had synthetic cannabinoids or cannabinoids or whatever the fuck. I don't know, dude. I just smoke weed. I'm not into all this, all these concentrates and shit. People be fucking, I don't know, man. Allegedly, right? But she's there with Stephanie McMahon, and she actually pulls the curtain back a bit on her arrest, which is like the one thing everybody's wondered about that she hasn't really touched on too much. It's not that she's really hit it and she's owned it and laughed about it, but Liv hasn't really like opened up about what happened, you know, that day or that fateful evening in that traffic stop.
Just like, why did they arrest
And I'm going to pause a bunch because Fanatics goes hard, guys. Okay, I'm sorry.
Spent her childhood trying to be like
what
you.
happened was
Shout out Fanatics. What's your story? There's the debate. Like, okay, is driving stoned like a big deal? And like, yeah, dude, if you're sitting there like ripping bongs and shit and driving, like, I don't think you're probably, you know what I mean? There's levels. Just like if you take 10 shots, it's different than taking a shot. So, but like, is it as bad as drunk drive? I mean, probably not. I mean, I've never like smoked so much I see double and shit, but you'll smoke so much you don't pay attention to shit and you just zone out and shit. So like, yeah, I don't know. Like, you just shouldn't do it, right? You're not allowed to take like too much pills you can buy over the counter and drive and shit, you know? So maybe not that, but there's definitely like cough medicines and shit that you could buy over the counter that if you take too much of when you got just like a simple head cold and you can't be driving around, you know? So I don't know. I just don't fuck with it. If you're RVD, there was an interview where RVD's like, I don't know, dude, doesn't everyone drive drunk? And it was like, what, Rob? What are you saying? I swear to God, someone's got to find that clip. I keep bringing it up. I'm not trying to bury RVD, but he always has so many controversial takes. And unless you're RVD, who's like, what? I thought everyone drives drunk. He was literally like, how do people get home? It's like, I don't know, bro. You walk or call a fucking cab? What are you talking about? You have a designated driver? No, isn't that shit getting like banned places and stuff? I think that's what I mean. People are smoking synthetic marijuana, and like in Canada, dude, you go to the fucking weed stores and some of the percentage on, I'm not going to do like a stoner cast here, but you're like, holy fuck. You know what I mean? People are getting way too baked. No, but there's like studies where the younger generations, like they're all not drinking as much, and the liquor industry is taking like a huge hit. And I don't know, I would say probably smoking's better than like being an Elkie. You know, I'd rather fucking deal with a stoner than an Elkie personally. That's I don't know, whatever.
Fiery girl, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm gonna get it. We're taking down Big Bouge. I'm leaving I'm coming back to Minnesota to take down Big Alcohol. Well, you don't know me, bro? I thought this was America. I'm a WWE superstar. You don't know who I am? She didn't pull a smart enough to know, like, don't cause a scene. Don't pull a John Jones and start headbutting the cop car while you're crying and screaming. Good on her. It's kind of, at least she tells the story funny, but it's funny how she's just like, well, it was my friend's vape and I don't I don't smoke weed in my car, although there's weed in my car. You what? Oh man. Oh shit. So speaking of cars, here's a little trailer. WWE Charlotte Flair will appear in season 2 of What Drives You with John Cena on the Roku channel.
This is dangerous.
Here's the trailer. Shout out Roku. Shout out John Cena. Shout out What Drives You.
Tell me what you got. I'm John Cena. Join me as I spend time with the
Mookie Betts, Kane Brown,
successful celebrities on the planet.
Who? I don't know who that is. Charlotte Flair.
Find out what fuels their.
At least he like gives it up for a pro wrestler every season. At least he goes and meets up with, like, yeah, I'll meet up with the Miz or whoever. Like, he puts WWE on. Saweetie, come on, man. Does she even have a fucking record in 26? Like, who? Saweetie.
Their drive to succeed.
Family is everything to me.
As well as taking a look at their cool rides. Wow.
this car actually saved my life.
You are so driven.
That fire is still there.
Who watches this show, chat? Let me know if you watch this show in chat. January 16. Yeah, I might check it out. I didn't watch the first season. I kind of wanted to, but I was just like, whatever.